Hello again. I have another custom journal share. This one is from a vintage wonder book, The Little Schoolhouse. And this one she requested a tassel. So let me see if I can get this positioned here to kind of show you. So I used a little button cover and then a Scrabble piece and a child, buttons, a dice, a bingo number. This was from a like a scrap, it was an old scrapbook thing that was given to me, and I just poked a hole in it and put a jump ring through to make it into a charm. But it's a little English textbook, and some beads with apples on them, regular beads, wood beads, glass beads. Let me see. It's very hard for me to show these. Here, that might be better in the video, but there's a little vial with sequins. There's a blue pencil. So now that I'll have to untangle it. But there's the little chunky tassel. And we'll take a look inside. So again, 3 signatures. I think the spine is 2 3/4 inches wide. And the copyright on this one was 1958. This is a KBandFriends printable, and then a vintage postcard. They drew a picture on the back, and that's a postcard of a school. And then, okay, so this customer, she was a agricultural teacher type before she retired, and so she wanted as many pictures of children happily gardening as I could find. So that's what I tried to focus on. And so I used a Dick and Jane book page, and this is just a little pocket that I made that can have something tucked in here, just with some collage, and a vintage report card. This one is for first grade. The school year is 1950 to 1951. And then some vintage fabric and ledger with a vintage milk cap. This is part of the same puzzle, a puzzle piece tuck, and a dictionary page. This is from a vintage numbers book. I just used it as a little flip out. And then some wrapping paper of children playing on the playground, and some of that teacher ledger paper. Dick and Jane stationery with the Old Maid Mother Goose card and a catalog, library catalog card, and just some vintage stamps and tickets. This little boy in the garden with his butterflies, and vintage memo, and a vintage playing card. And this little guy, he's it looks like he's digging up carrots. And I just backed him onto some cardstock and made him a tuck spot. And there's a vintage oversized Rolodex and a vintage stationery here. And then I have another science fair certificate that I put here, and some buttons in the middle of the signature. These are tuck spots. I don't know if I mentioned that or just showed it, but they're tuck spots there. And then these girls, I just clipped them in because I think they look super cute here. They coordinate really well with this scrapbook paper, but it takes up a lot of this page. So I personally think it would look really cute to glue this down and then journal around it, but I wasn't sure if she'd want to do that, so I just attached it with a paper clip. I'd be happy to glue that for you if you want me to. Anything that I can do, that's fine. Like I said, I just wanted to make it kind of versatile because this is a larger fussy cut. And then another milk cap, price ticket. This is some vintage tatting, very pretty. And a Viewmaster. I just did some collaging here. This one's Wild Animals of North America, and then another flashcard. This is the KBandFriends printable, and just some vintage items tucked in here. Again, focusing on the agricultural gardening type theme along with school. And a vintage soda label and some Apple stationery. Lots of stuff paper clipped in, so you can use it and move it about. This is the Simplicity girl that I fussy cut out and just did a little collaging here for some interest. And this is part of a vintage quilt up here that I made into a ruffle. And one of those printable flashcards. I'll have the the shop name in the description. And then another puzzle piece. Just did some collaging here. And this is a Science of Chemistry envelope that I opened, and I just paper clipped this in here because I thought the colors went well. And then some ABC ribbon and another soda label. There's just some goodies clipped on here. This is from a McCall's Make It book where they're, let's see if it says what they're doing. Planting plants in pots. And a candy receipt and a vintage index card. This is a pocket here, and I did stick some of these pieces of More Children Gardening. The colors weren't exact, so I wasn't sure if she would want me to use those or what, so I figured I'll just include them and then she can fussy cut them or do what she wants with them. Just a little tuck here. These are all from the paper line. I think they might be different paper lines. And this is a vintage postulette here. I just paper clipped on and paper clipped a little part of the paper line. And then another report card. This one's 1958 to 1959. And then this is really cool. This was from a childcraft book that I was, when I was looking for children in the gardening, I thought this was really cute. They're planting an Arbor Day tree. So I left that so she can make it either a tuck or a big journaling tag. This is some vintage shelf liner that I thought went well with this sewing pattern that I made into a pocket in the center of the signature. And just an extra cut off of paper and a receipt and a little date calendar, desk calendar page. And some vintage stationery and a KBandFriends printable. This is a lunchbox to go. Betty Crocker recipe card. I'm trying to see. Okay, 1971 is that one. And then some writing paper, children's writing paper, and some more of the quilt. A label. This is a little boy picking apples. I think that was from a child craft book also, and I just backed it onto some cardstock and stitched around it. This is a vintage ice coupon with some Apple stationery. Another little pocket, and then I have another page from that same book that I thought I don't want to back it onto cardstock because I didn't know if she'd want to use it with the color scheme or maybe just fussy cut these kids out. I'm not sure, so I just kind of tucked it in here. This one I did back. I thought this would look cute here as a pocket, but it could also be a journaling tag. And you know, again, she might not like the coloring. Here I just took two Simplicity home catalog pages and cut them down, and I connected them with the other half of the envelope, the chemistry envelope, just for, you know, interest. Another ticket and label. This is from a vintage book. And then again, I just put some yearbook paper in here, and this one is actually I don't know what they were doing, but they were looking through this tunnel and looks like they were trying to plant something there, so I put that there. But you know, I think the faces as a background would make really cool collage. I think I mentioned that in the last video. And this little boy's got his wheelbarrow and a little baby duck in his wheelbarrow with some flowers in the background. And a vintage math book page, vintage price ticket. This is from a child craft book, just some children in the classroom. Another book page, tag with a milk tab, and a vintage photo. And this is the same apple post-it, and a fussy cut girl from a book. And just some collaging here, some apple trim. One of those French postcards, and another puzzle piece. Another flip out page, dictionary page, ledger. This is from the Old Maid book. I thought this looked, she's reading a book, so I thought she could be a teacher or something like that. And then here, these are tuck spots. So this is from the Vintage McCall's Make It book as well, and they're talking about gardening indoors. Some buttons in the signature, and another tuck here. This is from the paper line, or one of the paper lines, and this is a September date book that you could turn into a tag or use it in collage. This is some vintage trim here, and another little tag that you could, or image that's backed onto cardstock, so you can make it into a pocket or use it as a tag. This is a vintage photo of a girl in her graduation outfit, and another vintage flash card. I thought #1 teacher, and the teacher is kind of the queen of the classroom, so I used that. And just some little tuck spots. Of course, you can write on the back. And then a vintage tally of an owl, and vintage postcard and playing card. Here's just a little Rolodex card with a scrappy flower from vintage quilt, and then the other half of that post-it. A Simplicity Girl from a home catalog. Another little envelope. This one's from 1954, Columbia University. And that brings us to the end. I wanted to put this as the last page because it's like the kids waving goodbye with the teacher. Super cute. And then I did a library card pocket on the back. So that is the little schoolhouse. I hope that the future owner of this, it was everything she was hoping for. And I would love to hear your feedback. For some reason, I think I purchased another one of these books, so I'll probably make one to put in my shop for general purchase. That's my goal anyway. And because this is a super fun book. I love this book. I've done it previously also, which is where she got the idea to ask for this book. But anyhow, I hope that she loves this and it's everything she was looking for. And I would love to hear your feedback and comments, and please subscribe. That helps my channel grow a lot, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.